days of old, the sorcerers of Riverlong cured the sick and healed the wounded through a great power called Source. But a terrible darkness invaded the land, and Source was forever tainted. The sorcerers who once healed now only destroy, and madness has overtaken them. A few brave Source hunters are all that stand between Riverlong and the dark power that threatens to destroy it. Wherever Source appears, hunters follow.
Rise and shine, Master Source Hunters. The cam wants you up on deck. Hear them calls? Means we're close to shore. I don't ever you go in there, Master Source Hunters. City's full of undead, hungry enough for blood. But you're supposed to investigate that murder, ain't you? They say it's Source that did the councillor in. Source in a city like Sicil, nowhere safe anymore. Here they are, Captain Sir.
God's blessings on you, hunters. You'll be happy to hear we've reached Sicil. But there's trouble offshore, so we'll have to sail in carefully. Here, have a look. Those are orc ships, and they're blocking our passage. We'll get you as close to the city as we can, and drop you off on the beach. Be wary now. Orcs are on the attack. Undead have closed every route out, and there's a sorcerer on the loose. If we're to get justice for the councillor, you'll have to keep your wits about you. May the luck of the gods be with you both, Source Hunters.
Hello there.
Hello.
And welcome back to Divinity Original Sin. And welcome to its first official episode, not the rambling episode 0 we just had.
Which was quite funny.
Indeed.
We did have a little laugh.
And once again we are joined by the Resident Evil fanboy Lewis.
Considering also how you're also a fanboy for Resident Evil as well, just not as much.
I enjoy Resident Evil, but not to the level you do.
Yeah, true. Right, so just a little side note, folks, because I know Connor's going to forget to say this. In this one, we are not sorcerers. We are source hunters.
Wow, the introduction does make that clear. Excuse me, my teeth are coming out again.
But I didn't know there were orc ships.
Yeah, well, just thought I'd mention it. Reason being is because this one is actually based in the past.
Well, I wouldn't say it based in the past. It's a bloody prequel, of course. It's going to be in the past.
Yeah, but like a few hundred years or so in the past, more than what the second one is.
If I remember from what we said in the last attempt to record, it's about 1,800 years before Divinity Original Sin 2.
Did you expect it to have an entourage?
Right, so we do know what we're doing here, folks, so we do apologise for this. Well, we did say in the second, in the 0, that we have actually went through this.
Yeah, but don't forget, Lewis, the amount of times we've done Original Sin 2 and we're still having issues.
Can you believe this? The man jumped
So,
off a cliff at the behest of some
this is something-
statues of all things.
This is sort of thing that's in number 2, folks. Just a little bit different. As what we said in episode 0, these sort of conversations can lead to the rock, paper, scissors outcomes, depending on what we have. And Connor here will also explain what these things will also do afterwards with the stats.
Well, I was going to explain it now, actually, while we're here. So basically, you do get conversations like this where, depending what you choose, gives you a personality trait, but different to what was in Original Sin 2. So, almost like along the lines of like Mass Effect and the like, you can get not so much paradigm, but pragmatic points and stuff like that, and you kind of build up a character like that.
I was always the renegade.
That doesn't surprise me.
Well, go in all guns blazing instead of asking for questions. Yeah, that's how my playstyle is on that. I went through it with the remaster version. Went through number 1 and 2, just being renegade.
Yeah, but as we've already established, you're not one for conversation, so that doesn't surprise me.
Well, great deeds require the occasional leap of faith. I myself might have done the same.
And end up a stiff tangle of limbs on a forgotten beach. I prefer a measured step to a flailing leap, thanks.
And this here, above our head, shows the different choices that we've made. So if I select traits, my character went for the romantic way, so she gets an increase to her lucky charm.
Whereas I went with a pragmatic trait, which gives me an increase to my crafting level.
So
we will go through more of this during the lines, because there are more of them.
Oh, there's plenty. I think there's about 8 or 10 different traits.
Man, I missed the song in the number 2.
In what sense? Which one? Which what?
You know, like the actual song in the background. I missed the song in the second one because it had that nice little touch to it, if you know what I mean. Like you could fall asleep to it.
Lewis, you fall asleep to most things.
No, I don't.
You do.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
I sat there and listened through your videos enough times to know not to fall asleep.
Mate, I fall asleep to my own bloody videos, and that's not me being egotistical.
Yeah, I've sat here and watched like about 5 of your videos in one go.
Are you trying to say you're my biggest fan? Ah, thank you, sweetheart.
No.
Too late, you've already admitted it. Too late, can't back out of it now.
No, what I'm saying is, it's because the way I just let it all build up. I just sat there and thought, you know what, I'm just going to go and watch all the videos that I've missed. And considering I had to go through and help you correct everything as well, with some of the problems you had.
Some of the problems I had cannot be done in-game. Like I said to you before, it comes through fine on the headset, but away when I'm editing, it's like, well, what do I do here?
Anyway, folks, battle time.
And I don't mean between me and him for once.
Believe me, that'll come in number 2. Don't worry. And it'll be a lot more entertaining, may add. Considering how our fights can last up to about an hour and a half. I still never forget that fight in a hurry. The very fact that I actually took you down by sheer luck, by all things.
Which one
was actually quite... That was when we had the 2v2.
Oh,
in
with
the second arena.
Yeah.
With Fane and Ethan. Yeah.
We've had that many, it's just trying to work out which one.
Well, that one was an interesting one because I had the mage and the rogue. You had the tank and the
archer.
ranger. Yeah. Which was a very fun match, may add. Another little thing, folks. You notice how he hasn't got any
petty criminals.
much health now.
To the dead. What stone could they have been so keen on taking?
In this game, we don't have bedrolls. The only ways you can heal is via health potions or sleeping in a bed. We do not have access to bedrolls in this one.
And healing
So
spells. Don't forget healing spells.
Well, we can get healing spells like first aid and such, but there's not very much of them.
That's what I mean. They're still there though, so it's best to count them.
Yeah. But otherwise, our main way of healing will be via sleeping in beds. Because potions in this game is quite expensive.
We can't well turn away from such an odious show of source. Let's investigate the tomb and see what answers it might reveal.
Indeed. For all we know, these dark-dealing thieves may be involved with Councillor Jake's murder.
So we got different traits in there. So for what we've done, which was independence, you get willpower. But if we had gone for the opposite one, which would have given us the obedient trait, we would have got a willpower bonus with leadership insight. So when a character's got leadership, it would have affected it. Now I am going to have to drink this potion because getting caught in that fire.
This seems to be broken.
Yes, I know it seems to be broken. Doesn't surprise me.
Now one thing about this game, your weapons and armour can take damage.
This seems to be broken.
You better take those braces, they're probably better for you. Your weapons and armour can take damage and be broken, and you have to repair them. That's a part of why they've got the blacksmith in this one compared to the original Sin 2, when you have to, well, you don't have to do that. That's everything searched, so...
Careful! There's a mine in the middle of our path.
Someone must have an interest in protecting whatever's kept here.
Up, down arrow.
Summon wolf.
Ooh, that would have been useful for me. Really? And I thought I was the pyrokinetic maniac.
It went boo.
This seems to be broken.
Yeah, and I'm the pyrokinetic maniac, and you go and do that.
I'm allowed to, that's the difference.
Yeah, just wait, because there's going to be a lot more boos where that comes from.
Ooh. Says take
What
that.
did you find?
A hand axe. Better than what I've got by a couple of points.
A potion
A king's
flask,
tomb, is it?
lockpick.
I've always heard there was more to these than
Considering what we're coming up to in a second, I will just do that.
Now this game is not easy by any stretch of the imagination.
This seems to be broken.
OS2 is bad enough, but this one has its moments. Largely in part due to the fact that at times it can be a bit confusing. And I do believe
to be broken.
this game actually leads up to the... actually sets up the events for original Sin 2.
Well, we're source hunters, so yeah, it probably would.
No, I mean like... when we're doing one of the quests, the one for Gratiana, she actually mentions 2 source hunters. So, I'm not going to go into any more detail than that.
Spotted.
This seems to be broken. Scarlet tried to attempt to open a door, but it failed.
I'm just going proper Viking on it now.
You made short work of that door.
Yeah, I could have
I
just
don't imagine
easily
our weapons would
fired it.
survive such use for long.
Yeah, but it's best if I can show these things off myself. Seeing as you sat there doing whatever you were doing.
Trying to read something that you probably missed.
That note that was in the tomb.
Yeah.
I didn't read it, but I did show that it was there.
Which basically what it says, folks, is it just allows you to find a button that's secret. Do you want to pick up that barrel and throw it?
Nope, because I can't pick you up.
That's a surprise.
They're too heavy, but... I don't need to show a bush, thank you.
But I do need to show off his rock.
It doesn't work the same way.
Although I got a potato.
Potato. Right. Did you find that range scroll by any chance? There are two ways you can do it. You can use a range scroll / spell, or just break these barrels. Somehow managed to burn myself, I don't know how.
Careful, I've spotted a trap.
And you're supposed to be the actual tank.
Unfortunately, like I say, and this is one thing that we haven't said, a big difference between this and... You almost pushed me into a trap, you bleeding Grondra.
Well, I was trying to grab that.
And I was trying to get away. You goddamn bleeding minion. But yeah, you don't have physical and magical armor on this. Which is a big difference coming from me doing the Let's Play that I'm doing at the moment with it, then coming on to this.
Do you mind just entertaining the folks for a minute, just while I go and feed my dog? Because my mum is currently deciding she wanted to text me say how to feed it.
Alright, if I don't die, yeah?
Well, I'll be right back, folks. I do apologise.
No, he doesn't. Right, but yeah, while he's doing that, missing that. Oh, sorry, I've got a problem with my leg, unfortunately. Missing that physical and magical armor well, not having it makes a big difference. I mean, I'm running as a tank, and yet I'm taking a beating.
This seems to be broken.
More due to fire damage than anything else. So, let's have a look. I don't think there's anything else, no? Okay. While he's doing whatever he's got to do, I'll just push on ahead. Strong. What else? Right.
I've spotted something interesting.
This is in OS2. When you get traps like this, you can actually block vents like that,
Well,
which will help out
I've spotted.
when trying to move. Simple puzzles, really, more than anything.
I do apologise, folks. I am back.
A strange sort of pit.
Ooh,
Must be a way to disarm
Another
it.
that was a
handout.
quick run. And you missed some lockpicks.
I weren't looking for.
A strange sort
That's
of
why
pit.
I've got the thing
There
on.
must be a way to disarm it.
Right, open this.
Skip the vase.
Right, so I will probably end up going down at some point. Unless I can find something to heal me.
The last thing I need is to surprise another angry summoner.
Now, this time Lewis was sneaking. Because last time we recorded this, he'd done his old faithful trick of running headfirst into something.
What's that? I think there are hidden foes ahead.
Okay. Let me go into it. Okay, blast it with some fire if you need to.
No, I'm not going to blast my fire.
Why when they were already standing in oil?
Because I can do that. And this.
So basically do exactly what I just asked you to do.
Well, I need to hit them with more fire.
Yeah, they were already standing in oil. They were already oiled up.
Well, it's not only just that, I wouldn't have got extra firepower on it otherwise.
It wouldn't have really mattered anyway, we still got to kill one.
Well, I took out one of the most...
You can't even say he was
one.
the dangerous one because we don't know which one's the dangerous one.
Well, one of them had a staff.
They both
and the other
have
one had a
staffs.
staff. Well, you can knock him down then, can't you?
No, because he's standing in fire.
Shame you can't bounce and shield him.
This last say you can't do a lot of stuff. Hammer time. So that's knocked
He
him
got
down.
whoops.
And then I'll put that stance on. And save the last of the AP for the moment because I cannot get close enough. He's dead anyway. There we go. So unfortunately, like I say, because you don't have that magical armour that you do on OS2, I cannot be as risky a tank as I would normally be.
Not unless you get your bodybuilding up.
My bodybuilding's up anyway, but the problem
This
is
seems to be broken.
the fire still rips
This
through your
seems to be
health.
broken.
The fire at the start of the at the first fight done more damage to me than the actual fight itself. Right, there's nothing else around here really. Well, as soon as I didn't get a chance to show it off because he's doing his usual and going off on a tandem. Part of the puzzle basically there was two switches you could put the pots on, similar to what I showed up there with the traps.
It's quite simple, quite easy. There's some tools on the thing as well that he will need. There is actually something over here that I do need.
Is there a bloody mallet to smack you with?
Actually, I was referring to the hammer that you could use.
Hammer, mallet, same thing, I'm gonna smack you with it. So basically, we got the one-handed, we got some arrow shafts. We got the hammer, which is probably not much different, but does crushing damage, I should say. As you can see here, so the axe does slashing, hammer does crushing. So it's a case of I've got less. I do more slashing damage, but it won't be as useful against certain enemies. Crushing damage is better used against, I believe, armoured enemies, like heavier armoured enemies or such thing.
Should have named my character Snake. Just for the lols.
Yes, he wanted to name his characters a load of things because I wouldn't name my character after me.
Ah, yes, another little puzzle, folks. A simple one, but easy enough.
A simple one, but easy enough. That is a... You know what, Lewis? Never mind. Right, this is the fun part, because I'm going to have to be a bit conservative with my actions.
A living rat dares disturb the slumber of the dead? A thieving fool insults the sanctity of the grave? The bloodstone defiler, where is it?
I see Lewis is setting up the battlefield while I do this.
I suppose you only crept among these sacred tombs for leisure. I suppose you
Yep.
had no lust for the
I just
treasure
need
of the
another
dead. Ha!
few
Strange
seconds for
indeed.
my actual midnight
Robed
oil to be
indeed.
set up again.
Your tricks will not save you from retribution.
And
This
it
in life. I
is
toil to
Lewis.
care for these
Ready.
holy grounds. In death,
What?
I protect them from profaners and poachers.
You
The legacy
Just
run if
literally
you
spoke
like.
across the entirety of that conversation.
Oh.
You could
My
see I was
apologies.
talking to him. Right.
Did that oil fade?
Yes, it doesn't last.
Valiant dash!
Knockdown failed. Right.
Power stance!
Power stance.
You're in trouble.
And then that. And then
You're
save
going to
the
probably be
opening.
in some trouble.
I was in trouble regardless.
Also, folks, another little thing. In number 2 of Divinity, you actually had to hit... You could hit the person and it'll set fire to the actual things around them. Like, if there's oil around them, you can throw fire on them. If they're standing in water, you can cast electrical on them. In this, you have to hit the actual oil itself, otherwise it will not count. Like so. And considering I've just saved your life there, that was actually quite handy.
I invoke the power of the giants.
Smack him with that. And now... just move to the side here for the moment. Second
Death
fight.
never dies, fool. Death in 1,000 forms rules all.
Now this is where it gets a bit harder.
I need another chance!
So that's him hit. And
You
then
might want to run.
Don't forget, it's armor fetch your AP in this.
Face the unending darkness.
There we go. That's out of the way.
I just love how that's like a media shot.
Let's pick up that.
It's like it just comes out of nowhere.
Right, those I will need. I will split one with you, of course.
I'll take that.
Now, Lewis
Here we
is
go.
a massive loot goblin.
Now, these tombstones, folks, we do have a little something here with these tombstones that we did say last time.
Well, we did actually.
Here lies Master Ragequin's second apprentice, killed by dying.
That's what I said Connor was.
Here lies Master Ragequin's first apprentice, killed by a fallen corpse.
That is what I would end up being like.
Probably a fallen corpse thrown at you by me, to be fair. But yeah, also you've got magic pockets in this so that you can use doors if someone else has got a key. It does save a bit of hassle. And if we go back up here, this is basically roughly where we started off.
And there ain't no loot here, which is a surprise.
No, because there was no loot there in the first place. Right, so over here you got a waypoint. In
We're missing
original
something.
Sin 2, you had the way shrines. Rain scroll, that'll be nice. You've got your shovel here.
Which I need, actually, because there is something I do need to go and check.
But for the moment, we've got the oyster.
Mm-hmm. And then we also got another little thing that we need to show off before we end up as well.
Let's pick that up.
Look!
You know I was supposed to talk to him, right?
Walking
I can take my
Because
leave.
it's
which this poor shell must suffer.
Yeah. Because it's the persuasion check, ain't it?
Can't remember. Also, I don't know too much about this compared to the second one.
Neither do I, but I know this is probably a persuasion check. I'm waiting on you, by the way, just to listen in.
I'm trying to, but it won't let me. No, it
Just
won't.
use the R1 or R1, L1. You in?
Nope, because it's not letting me.
What about now?
No, because it's not giving me the option.
Well, that's a bit weird. Because I can do it with you. Because I can listen, I can go straight onto your character and listen.
No, when I select you, for some reason it comes up saying to hit you.
Well, do you want to do the conversation then?
Let me see if I can get it to work first. Yes, I say as he runs off.
Ah boy. It's gonna
When
be
I
a
say
long
let me
leg
try and
fight.
get it to work, that does not mean wander off. You got to.
Well, try the L1 and R1 tactic, because that tends to work with me quite
And
a bit.
I've
when I'm
just said
standing
I
up.
did, and it hasn't worked.
What about the L3 tactic?
Nope. Because like I've just said, all it gives is the option to smack you over the head.
What about the shell?
Nope. Just says
Not
use,
even the
but
shell?
nothing comes up.
Well, use it.
What part of it says use, but nothing comes up did you not understand?
See, folks, this is something that happens quite a lot. Right. Well, I don't know why that ain't doing the way it's supposed to.
Oh, mighty ocean, how I give it her
Right.
creature.
There we go. Now, for some reason, if I try it, nothing.
Well, shall I just say it?
See, if your internet weren't so bloody crap, I could try and get it to go onto your side, but...
Give it her
Right.
creature of the earth.
Should have taken the persuasion.
Shell, son of the sea, an outcast among these.
Wow, you wanted to be the mage.
An exiled shell, doomed to live under.
Yeah, but normally you take the persuasion.
Not his nature.
Yeah, well, we weren't expecting this thing to happen, were we?
No.
Of course I can talk. Don't be silly. There's more tongue to me than heart. Indeed, the surprise should be mine. For I still remember the days when your kind swung from branches and plucked the vermin out of their neighbor's fur.
Bit like you down in London.
Time is an indulgence.
Very funny from you
The
up in
one
Birmingham.
spends happy hours as she
At least I
passes.
can say
But when
Birmingham.
your existence is one of misery,
Birmingham.
she becomes a
It's not
heart.
Birmingham, it's
Yeah.
Birmingham.
Birmingham.
You goddamn backwards ape.
I'm the backwards ape. I'm not the one that's further up north.
Doesn't matter how far north up I am. I mean, you're closer to Wales than I am, you goddamn sheepshagger.
Not really, because
Times, for I
I'm next to the
have lain here
Thames.
since antiquity.
That's
When
not
our
something to
ruins
be
of
proud
ours
of.
were palaces, and the
No.
sun-bleached dead
But then I am
married
quite close to some airports around here.
all this I have seen, alive, alone,
Speaking of
alas.
River Thames, I actually got the River Thames right outside where I live as well. There's like a bit of like a little river to it.
I assure you, how many snot noses have held me up against their dirty little ears, only to claim they could hear the ocean. Of course they can hear her, the brats. We are on the very edge of the great aquatic mother, whose embrace I so desperately long for. Yes, yes, I, King of Pearls, ache to repose anew on his coral throne. Hurl me toward the water. Swing me as far as your arm's strength gives lease. And treasure long sunk I will grant thee. What do you say, kind knight? Will you return the King of Pearls to the sea, so he may yield you long lost treasure?
Right, so this is where we can choose what to do with him.
Should be a
Kindness is its
jewel,
own reward.
not a jewel.
And then there's the promise of treasure to boot. Let's throw him into the sea.
And pass up the opportunity of simply taking him and selling his valuable pearl? I think not.
I know what one he's going to go
Very
for.
Short-sighted. A pearl is worth a few
Not the one you were
coins, to be
expecting.
Sure, but who knows what riches lie hidden beneath the waves?
Either you agree to take him with us, or it's you I'll throw into the deep.
So the way this works basically is it goes on your big part of it. As far as we know, we're still trying to work this out ourselves, but a big part of it goes on your charisma skill. So he's got 1 point in charisma, so he can do 1 more point than I can. So he's beat me there and he gets 3 points.
And now he beat me, he gets 2 points there.
So I'm a bit of a disadvantage, but it doesn't mean that I can't win. You know, it's just a lot of it is just down to guesswork.
I mean, he has won the last 2 of them. But just for the hell of it, I'm going to be a nice. I'm going to throw scissors. And I say again, I'm going to throw scissors. Because ideally I'm just showing this off for content reasons. I don't necessarily want to sell him. Then I'm going to go paper.
See, normally I wouldn't do this.
But I'm just being kind enough not to sell him because he does give good loot. Rock.
I don't know what he gives if you sell him. I don't know how much they're worth. What did you say?
Rock.
You're going for rock?
Yep. Then I'm going paper to finish it off.
So basically...
But the next one...
Go on.
I was going to say, but next one, I ain't going to be as kind.
But as you can see,
No,
I've
we'll
had
do as
to...
I say, and there's an end to it.
I've had to win 5 compared to his 4.
Liberator, kind benefactor, bless me the might of your sea-bound witch.
I've got egotistical.
I have returned.
Sounds about right.
And I've got altruistic,
The bounty of the deep be yours.
which has increased my reputation by 2. And for that we get Mermaid's Kiss.
I've got a bartering.
Yep.
I've got a bartering upgrade. Nice. Right, just one more thing, folks, before we do head off. Obviously, we do have that shovel. Or shall I say, I do.
So I'm just looking
Shall
at
we
the
go?
ring. So he gives you a ring and some gold.
Which is more valuable than the actual cash that we would have probably got off of him anyway, because our bartering being so low.
Well, it depends, because you would have had the extra bartering, so...
Yeah, but the ring is useful.
Well, it gives 11% water resistance and the HP, so... I'm going to need that
Exactly.
for the moment.
Right, let's go and get this buried treasure very quickly. Now, folks, just like in Divinity 2, we still do have buried treasure. It is around, if I remember correctly, up here somewhere. It was around here.
While he's
There we
doing
go.
that, I'm going to just quickly show off the waypoint properly. Like I say, they're exactly the same as the way shrines, if you haven't seen Divinity OS2.
Right, found it. Yeah, so not as obvious as it would be in number 2, folks. Now you can see there's a big, massive mound sitting right there. So it is a lot easier to find than what number 2 is. Got a fighting knife and an oil flask. That'll be quite helpful. Unfortunately, we don't have the water bottle, which would have been quite useful. What's over here, actually? Just a couple of orange juice and just a couple of branches.
There's not a lot
Nothing new.
really over. But that'll do for now.
Indeed it will.
I say next episode we'll be crossing the bridge, going through these two one way or another.
The drunken pair.
Yep, and making our way up the hill to see what waits for us on the other side. But until then, I'll see you all later.
And we bid you farewell.
Shut up.